we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel, where it is time to do the Premier League team of the season. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone will have seen the BBC Sport one. Some interesting players in there, has to be said. But I'm joined by two fabulous guests today. From the brilliant HairDryerTreatment, I've got Sophie again. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Doug. Thank you for having me on the channel. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing very well, and it's lovely and sunny here. Lovely and sunny here as well, so it's very, very lovely as well. And we've got a Welshman as well, Connor Niblett from the Kop Council. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, the weather is absolutely boiling right now. I don't like the summer. I don't like the sun. Please bring back snow, please.
No!
We bring back snow. We never get any snow. It's the most pathetic attempt of snow ever. So if we had proper snow, I'd probably say, yeah, bring it back. But we literally get sludge, just rubbish. I want to leave the snow day from school, you know? That kind of snow. We don't get that.
Yeah. So basically, guys, obviously I've asked you to come on and help me with the Premier League team of the season. Obviously, I'll be the judge. And we'll see. We'll basically come up and, looking forward to this. Looking forward to this debate. So, goalkeepers, let's start with. So, I've written down a list of 6 goalkeepers who I think have been absolutely fantastic. And then, basically, if you disagree with either of those 6, you can say other, and then let me know which name. So, the goalkeepers I have in mind are Alisson Becker, Dean Henderson, Nick Pope, Ederson, ? Don't think he's been as good as last season. Rui Patricio, Martin Dubravka, or other. So, Sophie, I'll come to you first. Who is your goalkeeper of the season?
You can't not give it to Alisson, as much as it pains me to say that. You can't not give it to him. I mean, he's been superb. Ederson, you made an interesting point. I do think City not replacing Company obviously has put a lot more pressure on Ederson as well. But, I mean, look at the mistake against us when McTominay scored right at the end. He hasn't been as consistent. I think Patricio would come higher in that list than Ederson this season. And then, like, Henderson, I've put as my second choice. I want him to get United soon. But I think another year out on loan will be best for him. And I think he'll be England's number 1 in the near future as well.
Yeah. So, Alisson Becker for you?
Yeah, Alisson for me. And then I did put in brackets Henderson as my second choice, just in case.
Okay. Connor, agree with Alisson?
Do I have to argue it? No, I'm joking. To be fair, yeah, he's been the best goalkeeper.
Undisputed. Kills me to say it.
Yeah, he has been the best goalkeeper in the league. Absolutely. And to think he's missed 2 months of the Premier League as well is another crediment, then you could say, towards Alisson Becker. For me as well, I got Henderson a second. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And for me, you know, if I was Manchester United, I would cash out on David De Gea right now because he is on the decline, and it's been there for a while. In my personal opinion, anyway, like he's been on decline for a while, and now the best goalkeepers like Manuel Neuer in the Bundesliga, you know, he's been on a decline, but now he's, you know, over the last season or 2, he's actually bounced back up. So it's possible in like later years that he could bounce up. And I'm not going to lie, De Gea's probably been, you know, he was the best goalkeeper in the past decade, you know, undisputedly, even though that makes it so hard to say because he's Manchester United. But yeah, for me, it's Alisson and then it's Henderson. And I like what Sophie said. I think, you know, Dean Henderson should take over as number 1 in Manchester United. Will it be next year or the year after? I don't know. But yeah, I can definitely see him taking over from David De Gea.
Absolutely.
I think De Gea is declining, like you say. That's why I think 1 more season, and then maybe that'll be the perfect time for Henderson to step up. But definitely long-term, Henderson for me is the keeper that I want at United. And like I say, I think he'll be England's number 1 as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm the same. Alisson, for me, is my goalkeeper of the season. However, you could argue Dean Henderson, Nick Pope. Obviously, they've got more clean sheets than Alisson, but obviously the impact that Alisson's made. Dean Henderson, bar his Liverpool mistake, has been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Nick Pope's had a very good season as well for Burnley, and obviously they are in the top 10, so, you know, obviously very, very good from them. So, yeah, Alisson Becker, I think that's a unanimous one. This is where they might get interesting, right? Right backs. So, I don't think there's been many good right backs. So, Kyle Walker, you're not in this list. Bye-bye. Sorry, I had to say that. So the right backs I have are Trent Alexander-Arnold, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Ricardo Pereira, Matt Doherty, and then other. I think they're the top 4. Connor, come to you first. Who is your right back?
It's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Quite easily been the best fullback in world football. In my opinion, it's been. I see Sophie like thinking her head. I think I know Sophie's answer already, but it's still that. But yeah, 12 assists so far in the Premier League. I think it could be 13. I'm not quite sure on that, but he's on level from his record last season, and he's just keeping on, mounting up those assists. Yes, his defensive work still needs a bit of work, but yet again, he is still only 21. There is a massive amount to progress in his defensive work going forward. He is just sensational. Every single ball he puts in, like if Liverpool still had Peter Crouch, Peter Crouch would be a 20-goal a season striker. Just saying. Yeah. But I can see why people will say, other people due to defensive reasons. But for me, Trent Alexander-Arnold has been superb this season, and it can only get better from here, to be honest with you.
Okay, Sophie, do you agree with Trent Alexander-Arnold?
To be honest, I do, but it kills me to say it. But I always say it's almost like you want a combination of both Trent and obviously Wan-Bissaka. You want to merge them two because Wan-Bissaka defensively is just incredible. I've never seen anybody, I don't think, defend as good on a one-to-one as Wan-Bissaka in that fullback position. He's just incredible. If he can improve his end game, like you say, going forwards, like Trent obviously can do, I think that Wan-Bissaka has definitely got a bright future ahead of him at United. And I think for his opening season, he's been absolutely incredible. So I think obviously Wan-Bissaka deserves a mention. I think Trent just pips it because obviously Liverpool are going to go on to be champions, and you have to give him credit for that. To have a season so good and then go and be a champion at the end of it, I think you have to kind of give it in Trent's favour. But Wan-Bissaka, for me, I think he's been absolutely incredible, and he's going to go from strength to strength. He's going to get better and better. And I'm excited. I think he's going to be a long-term fullback for us. I'm hoping so anyway.
Yeah, just think of the things he'll be taking out of his pocket. Obviously, his keys, his wallet, Raheem Sterling.
To be fair, I think Trent and Wan-Bissaka have that in common. They both got Sterling in their pockets.
Yeah, that's it. Bless me.
I would agree. But no, if any other season I would pay Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he's been absolutely fantastic.
Pereira, that's the toughest decision in the team of the season, the right back for me. That was the hardest one. Because like you say as well, there isn't that many to choose from. Just two basically. And they're both for different reasons. They've had amazing seasons, so it's really awkward.
I know. I suppose you could say Ricardo Pereira's had a good season for Leicester City, albeit his injury as well. Matt Doherty at Wolves, obviously your dad's a Wolves fan, Sophie, and obviously he'll be pleased with Doherty. But there's not been many right backs that have been very, very good. I think those were the four. But yeah, for me, it's obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold. But any other season, I would put it for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Right. Here's an interesting one. So left back. So the options are Andy Robertson, Enda Stevens, Ben Chilwell, Johnny Otto, Luke Shaw, ?
Williams has been better than Shaw. Williams. He's been better than Shaw, definitely.
I was tempted to put him in there as well. So, Sophie, who is your left back?
It's got to be Robertson. To be honest, Robertson was a player that I used to watch playing for Hull. And I remember saying it. I remember sitting with my dad and we were watching Hull play on Sky. It was on a Saturday morning. And I remember saying he looks like one hell of a player. And that was way back then at Hull. It just stood out and he's just gone from strength to strength. And I think he's an absolute quality left back. And obviously a really important player for Scotland as well.
Yeah. Connor, I think we're probably unanimous in this one, I think.
Yeah, it's Andrew Robertson. And I would also agree. I think that Williams is above Luke Shaw. In that pecking order, from what I saw anyway. I think he played against Man City. Williams.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry to interrupt you. I think just before lockdown happened, Luke Shaw was starting to show a bit of form again, and I think it was because of having Williams obviously pushing him for his place. I think the competition is obviously healthy, but Williams deserves a lot of credit, I think, for coming up into the first team this season and for playing the way they has done.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Williams has been very, very good, and breakthrough get my words out, Douglas. Breakthrough season as well. I think he's been outstanding, and I love the fact that he bought his dad a car for his birthday.
Love it. He had a lot of stick, didn't he? He put a video up and he was seen as like his council estate garden, and lots of people saying, you're playing for Man United and you still live in a council estate. I love that about the kid, and I think that if he can stay grounded, he's just going to aid his game and he's get better and better, because there's a lot of people who don't think he'll be the long-term left-back at United. For me, I think there's a lot of potential there, and he could be. He obviously needs coaching and needs to improve, but I think if he can keep himself grounded and don't get too big time, that's what you need from a youngster like that, like Williams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Robertson has been something else. Enda Stevens, special shout out to him. Sheffield United have been fantastic this season. Enda Stevens has been terrific.
The one thing as well about the Williams and Shaw thing, like especially with you guys, you've like been playing a three at the back and then playing the two, Wan-Bissaka and that, and I think that's worked for you quite a lot this season. But going back on like the Robinson thing as well, just to remember, like we paid £8 million for him. That's just a rip off. And we didn't even pay that because I think it was a swap deal for Kevin Stewart, because I think Hull paid like 8.5 million and we bought Robinson for 8 million. So we actually got a profit out of that, which is just crazy. But yeah, there's definitely I think left backs this season, there's been more better, left back showings than there has been in like previous seasons. Like we've said, last couple of seasons has been like competition between Robertson and the Manchester City fullbacks with Mendy and all like that. But you think about it, even though Man City are second and the Giants and all like this with money and all like that, fullbacks, they are terribly lacking in quality. Because to be honest with you, I know we're not talking about flops of the season or anything like that, but for me, they bought Joel Cancelo for that, and
I see a lot more of him.
And he was meant to be like the player to bring Kyle Walker's level up, and that's never happened this season. And they've had like trouble at left back, and Cancelo can play left back as well. He hasn't played, so what has happened there? But yeah, it's good to see that there's competition there. But Andrew Robinson, he is the best left back in the world.
I think if you look at the likes of Alphonso Davies as well, what a player he is. Obviously, he went on trial at United, we turned him away, which kills me. What on earth were we thinking of doing there? But what a player he is. I absolutely love him. I've got him on my FIFA career mode as well, but I think he's a superb player. He's going to get better and better. The game the other day against Dortmund, he was incredible.
He was.
He is the fullback who can go both ways because his pace just gets him out of trouble so much as well. And obviously going forwards, he's such a threat. But I think him in a few years to come, he will be the level. I think he's going to be a quality long-term player, definitely. As long as he stays obviously fit and injury-free, exciting times for Bayern having him in their ranks, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So obviously that's so it's all Liverpool so far. Will that change when we get to the centre back? Right. So centre backs I put Virgil van Dijk, Kagler Siyuncu, Joe Gomez, Johnny Evans, Connor Cody, Harry Maguire. Now the reason I put Harry Maguire in that, no, Connor, Harry Maguire since the turn of the year has played much, much better for Manchester United. The results have improved, and he's more of a leader on the pitch. So that's the only reason I put him in.
My thoughts with Harry Maguire is he's improved us because I imagine we could have Phil Jones there in his place. So come on, he's in the team just for that, for keeping Phil Jones out.
And the other ones were John Egan, James Tarkowski, and other. So Connor, who are your two centre backs then?
It's definitely not Harry Maguire.
Not mine either.
I'm sorry. We look at the history books now, and it says Harry Maguire is the most expensive defender in world football. I'm sorry. It's like hoping for a Rolls Royce and getting a JCB. It's like that with Harry Maguire, in my opinion. Anyway.
But yeah, of course, we paid a lot of money for Maguire. I mean, we got ripped off, and you have to blame Woodward for that because he was penny pinching. He was trying to save money, and he's ended up panicking and having to spend obviously at the end of the window and get Harry Maguire in when we were linked with him from the start of the window. So it's just a case of penny pinching, and we've been stung for that. But he has improved us defensively. I think we've lacked that kind of leader character. He brings that to us definitely. If you're looking at England centre backs as a country, he starts for England, and he's probably the best centre back actually we have got internationally at the minute, and that's horrible to say because he is slow, he is sluggish. I get that, but like I say, we lacked someone commanding at the back, and he has brought that. It's not just on the pitch; his quality is the way that he is as a person, we didn't have any backbone really. If you look at Arsenal, the lack of owners, as Dini said, the lack of people with character, and I think Maguire has brought that. So he has improved.
Yeah.
I do think he's a good signing, regardless of the money spent. It was stupid money, I get that, and I blame Woodward for that. I think we all know he overpaid, but if you're Manchester United and you're desperate for a centre back and he's English, they were always going to rip us off. When you look out there, was there many other centre backs we could get at the end of the window? Well, obviously we had waited so long. I don't think there was, and I think it's just a bad business from Woodward in terms of the price. But in terms of the actual player, I'm happy with Maguire. I think if you can get a solid partner for him, I mean, Boya, I think, could be the partner, but injuries, we all know, cost him too much. But we've been linked with likes of Koulibaly and people like that. Imagine if we get someone like that in alongside Maguire. I think that'll be a formidable partnership. I really do, because I don't think he's as bad as people make out. But he's slow, and like I say, we did overpay for him. Of course, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Connor, who are your two centre backs?
Obviously, it's Virgil van Dijk. Like,
just have him Van Dijk.
Yeah, just put him right in the middle and just let him clear up everything, because he is that Rolls Royce of defending. You know, he's got everything. He's got pace, you know, physicality, everything you could think of a defender, and goals as well, goals and assists, and a phenomenal passing range as well. You know, I just spoke about, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold and his, you know, pings across the net, but, you know, Virgil van Dijk as well, you know, he can find a 70-yard pass out of nowhere. But to go back on Sophie's point as well, I do agree that Ed Woodward, he's terrible for you guys. I think, you know, as soon as you got rid of him and brought in a director of football, I do think that would be your best thing that you could do ever. Because I think wasn't Phil Jones like out of contract, and then you give him like a brand new, like, phenomenal contract, which was so stupid. But yeah, that's how badly Manchester United are run, and that's how, you know, Manchester United have fallen. You know, let's think of this. You know, when Jurgen Klopp come into the side, you know, when we signed Sadio Mane and other people like that, it was the history and Jurgen Klopp's, you know, vision of what's like all right, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might have a vision for Manchester United, but upstairs that vision is not the same. In my eyes anyway, and until you get like that manager and that director of football that push everything together, then it can happen then for Manchester United, and then, you know, hopefully then, you know, you'll have that intense rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United yet again. But my second defender, to be fair, I really want to put Joe Gomez in there, because I think he's been, you know, phenomenal since coming into the team and things like that. You know, I've said on my channel over, you know, the last year, you know, whoever Van Dijk is next to, he raises their level up so high. And, you know, it's like I said to you, Doug, you know, I thought, you know, first half of the season, I thought Matip was better than Van Dijk when we had him, because Matip was so good. But I would give it to Soyuncu of Leicester. I think he's been brilliant. I think he's been, you know, we've just spoken about Harry Maguire and all like that. And I believe Soyuncu was there last season as well with Leicester, but didn't get a look in. And, you know, you wonder why now, you know, because he is, you know, such a good talent. And to be fair, he reminds me of Van Dijk in a little way. You know, got height, physicality, he's got some pace behind him. You know, so all the factors are there. So, you know, if Manchester United want to go in, if they can't get Koulibaly, then, you know, maybe they go back in with Leicester and try and get Soyuncu. But it's like Arsenal as well. Like, I think, you know, I think David Luiz they're getting rid of, you know, because of his contract. So, you know, maybe Arsenal might look at getting him, which, you know, they need centre backs. Let's be honest, because I think
we need everyone.
Yeah,
Arsenal needs centre back. I think you've just said the understatement of the year.
I wanted that. Find David Luiz.
Yeah.
You could actually have David Luiz and Harry Maguire as centre-back partnership.
I'd rather have no one there than David Luiz, honestly. I'd rather honestly.
Yeah, it would be Soyuncu and Van Dijk for me. I think them two have been the best.
Sophie,
I've gone with the same, very similar. I've gone Van Dijk and Lord Farquaad. That's what I've gone for.
Lord Farquaad.
He looks just like Lord Farquaad, honestly. But you have to credit Leicester for that business as well. They signed, obviously, they sold Maguire for 80 million. Ridiculous. But then they've signed a player who was on the bench, I think, for the majority of the time that he played last season. And it's just been a transformation at the back. They haven't missed Maguire at all. Soyuncu has been absolute quality. But yeah, Lord Farquaad gets in there with Van Dijk. That's mine. I can't argue with that one.
Yeah, I had Van Dijk, obviously. And then I had Soyuncu / Egan. because I think Egan for Sheffield United has been very, very good as well. Funnily enough, it's very funny seeing no Man City defenders in there. But to be honest, they've not defended very well this season.
I wonder why.
Joe's been their best defender, and he's not even a centre-back. He's been playing centre-back, but he's not a centre-back. Laporte, I think he's decent, but a bit like Maguire, he needs a partner now. They've lost Company. He needs a solid partner beside of him. And City have really regretted not replacing Company.
Yeah. They have indeed. Right. Midfield options. So I think this will be very, very difficult.
Bruno.
So, midfielders, Jordan Henderson, Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Wilfred Ndidi, Yuri Tillemans, James Maddison, Mateo Kovacic, Kevin De Bruyne, Fred, Bruno Fernandes, Jack Grealish, John Lundstrom, Ruben Neves, Emi Buendia, or other. So who's your first midfielder, Sophie?
I hate saying it. I can't even bring myself to say it. Henderson.
Hey!
I've said this so many times. I cannot stand Jordan Henderson because he reminds me. Obviously, I play football, and you know those players who are like constantly looking at the bench and look what I'm doing. I'm doing everything right. Look at me. I just made a pass. Like he reminds me of a player like that, like a right swat at school. And I don't know what it is. I just can't stand Jordan Henderson. But I will say I think he's been an incredible player for Liverpool, and I think he really does make them tick. I think when you haven't got Henderson in there, you really notice it. And I think he's kind of like that engine in the middle, but also he's that leader character, isn't he? And yeah, you have to just respect that. And I think he's one of these players who does the little stuff well, but you need someone like that in your team. And that's what I always say about McTominay for us. He's not a big name, he's not a glamorous player, but he does the little stuff well. And I think that's Henderson. You're always guaranteed 8 out of 10 every single game with him. He's just Mr. Consistent for you. Like I say, he doesn't do anything special, but I just think that he makes Liverpool tick, and he's such a crucial player for them in the middle.
Yeah, totally agree. Connor, I think we're going to be very unanimous on this one as well. I think Henderson is our first midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. You know, to be fair, it's one of these things. You know, rival fans and other people they detest Jordan Henderson and things like that. But
even before he went to Liverpool, to be fair, just something about Henderson, I just don't like him. But like I say, I respect him and I respect the role that he has at Liverpool. I think he's important.
It's not so much Manchester United fans. It's more like Man City fans, where they say like, "Oh, he's not good enough to be in a midfield." It's like he would get in your midfield at the minute the way they're playing. But for me, we've talked about this, like loads of times. For me, Jordan Henderson has a real shout in being PFA Player of the Year. Like his leadership has been second to none. I've said to you many times, Doug, in 13-14, when we missed out on the league, when people mentioned Steven Gerrard and all like that, I've said to you, I think the red card that Jordan Henderson got against Man City, I think he was the missing factor in those last 3 games. And this is why we didn't win the league that time, unfortunately. But, if you want to show what Jurgen Klopp can do to a player in terms of Jordan Henderson, then his start to now, the partnership between that has worked tremendously. And you can see people has complained about Jordan Henderson when Hendo was playing in the 6th role, and then we got Fabinho, and then we moved Henderson further up. For me, he was Liverpool's best advanced player last season when he moved to that role. And to be fair, Hendo, he has like a style of football, and we all know that he isn't about the skills and everything like that. But his work rate is second to none. And for me, if you want like a kid or a child to look up to someone in terms of work rate and leadership and other things like that, then I do think Jordan Henderson is one of those players that you should look at and try and role model on, or things like that. But yeah, for me, Henderson is undisputedly in this team for me.
Yeah, I mean the thing you get with Henderson, he's a 7 or an 8 out of 10 every game.
Every week,
He's been fantastic this season. And look at our form. It kind of dipped when he went out of the team. Obviously we lost to Watford, we lost to Chelsea. That impact on a team is massive. And once Henderson goes out of the team, we're looking really lack of sort of midfield options in there. So, but yeah, Henderson has been so important, and I'm looking forward to him doing the Hendo shuffle like he did in Madrid. And obviously Istanbul earlier this season as well. Okay, The next midfielder I've got in my midfield, I think this is unanimous as well, Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's had a terrific season.
His quality. With De Bruyne, I just think if he didn't have so many injuries, he's just incredible. And it's interesting to see if City's ban stays, obviously, in Europe, he's going to want to win the Champions League. He's not getting any younger. I'll be interested to see if he sticks around. He's got no loyalty to City. I'll be intrigued to see if he stays there.
Yeah. Well, I suppose he did grow up as a fan of Liverpool. So, Kevin De Bruyne, come to Anfield. Come to Anfield.
Yeah,
you'll be welcome. You'll be welcome.
Liverpool put in a cheeky bid, please. Just anyway, just do it. Please do it. But, yeah.
We got McTominay. I don't want him.
To be fair, if, it's like Sophie said, if Man City do get the ban, it does then ask the question then, does he leave? And you look at a more yes to no in that terms of things.
Aguero as well. Like I said, they're not getting any younger. At that point in their career now where they want to win the Champions League, it's looking likely with City, if we've got a 2-year ban, I think they're going to have no choice but to leave, to be honest with you. Those are the two names that stick in my head whenever I think of this ban. It's De Bruyne and Aguero. I can't see them staying around.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And you look at it as well around Europe as well, who's top midfielders are starting to run out in terms of quality and that. And for me, Real Madrid are needing midfielders. So, and they've been after Pogba, rumoured now for well over a year or something like that. So
happening. No way.
Exactly.
The reason is I think because of obviously Mino Raiola. I think the only player that Mino Raiola has had at Real Madrid is Alphonse Areola. So I don't see Pogba going. Actually, to be honest, who's going to afford Pogba? That's the thing, because of this obviously pandemic. I just can't see Pogba moving on. I think he will stay at Man United this season.
I'm always really mixed with Pogba. I say if we're going to get a Paul Pogba who wants to play at Manchester United, his heart is in it. Of course, keep him. And I think with Bruno in there, Rashford coming back, obviously playing Martial as well, I think we'll get the best out of Pogba. He has lacked a bit of quality around him. Sometimes you're kind of giving him the ball and just expecting a bit of magic from him because we haven't got much going on. We've got like a Lingard who haven't got quality. So I do want to see him in a team with Bruno, Rashford back from injury as well. And obviously if we get new signings in, I think getting better quality around Pogba will help him. But I just can't be bothered with the circus, like you say, his agent. All that is just so draining, just having a constant whirlwind of rumours going around Paul Pogba. We just need him to focus on his football. There's no doubt in his ability, but we just need to see it more consistently on the pitch because there's far too many other things that are a distraction for him.
Yeah. Right. This is going to be very interesting. Last midfielder, Sophie, I'll come to you first for this one.
No. Bruno, I was going to mention, I think 5 games in to put him in the team of the season was a bit of a joke because you've got players who obviously grafted all season, who have played well all season and they haven't got a shout. But I think Bruno, if he was signed when we were linked with him, rather than waiting until January yet again, I think that he would have been in the team of the season. He's that good. There's a lot of people who think he's overrated. I don't think he is. I think he is a
No. He's not overrated.
I don't think he is.
This guy is a talent.
And yeah, he is a talent. And that's why we're talking about Neves from Wolves. I would love it if we one day managed to get Neves because I think him and Bruno in that middle could be something special. But I put Kovacic in there because I think Kovacic in a Chelsea team that is quite mediocre. Obviously, they're in a period of transition as well. I think this season he has been absolutely superb for them. I really do. I think he stood out for them.
Yeah. Connor, would you agree with Kovacic?
To be honest with you, I had in the midfield, I had Grealish in the midfield, but of course he's not in this list that you said. So yeah, I would put Grealish in there for me, but he is in there.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, then I'm putting Grealish in there. I think
I'll put Grealish in brackets as well. To be fair,
I think
brackets.
I think out of the bottom half of clubs, or to be fair, even the whole Premier League, he's been a revelation, especially for Aston Villa, because you look at relegation teams. Usually they have one star man, and then when they get relegated, then you have like the top clubs fighting over them, and I can see that happening with Aston Villa and Grealish. You've had Tottenham being rumoured. I could even see him going to Manchester United, and improving them. And yeah, he's just been superb. And he is a top Premier League player, and Kovacic as well. I think he's been a standout for Chelsea. I think last season when You had Sarri, and you had the debate about N'Golo Kante and Jorginho, and where should they really play. No one was really talking about Kovacic and his move from Real Madrid, because it was a big move. Kovacic was meant to be the heir to Luka Modric at Real Madrid, and it just never worked. So for him then to finally make the move permanent, even though Frank Lampard took over, was good. And it's good to see that he worked there. So yeah, for me, I personally would put Jack Grealish in midfield.
I think the thing with Grealish. Sorry, Doug. We talked about Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne not getting any younger, and they want to win the Champions League. I think with Grealish, it's very similar. I think he's going to want to win some titles, get some trophies. He's almost hitting the peak of his career now. And you're thinking he's going to have to get a big move, because if Villa go down again, which is looking likely, is he going to realistically stay in the Championship? Even though it's his boyhood club, I get that. He's not, is he? He's going to want to move. No. But like you say, I think there's a few clubs who are interested. We've been strongly linked. I would take Grealish at United. I know there's a lot of stuff about his attitude and being caught out during lockdown, and he's been an absolute muppet for that. But he just needs to obviously just mature and just show on the pitch and be a role model, really, for, like you mentioned earlier, footballers are massive role models, and I think Grealish needs to be that guy.
Yeah, he's he's not the only muppet. Let's put it that way. No. there's been a fair few. Also, on the point of Aston Villa, let me just say we wish Dean Smith and his family well. This really sad time, obviously losing his father, Ron Smith, to this horrible virus. So our thoughts are with everyone at Aston Villa and Dean Smith. So I've got to decide, haven't I?
It's the first tough call that Doug's had to make in the video.
He's not a Liverpool player.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to lean towards Kovacic. The reason is I just think that Chelsea. the reason I do that, I just think Chelsea this season without Kovacic look a different team.
Yeah.
I think without him in midfield, I think he's a much better player than people put him out to be. And actually, people forget that was the only signing Frank Lampard actually made this season as well, because obviously Chelsea had their transfer ban. That's obviously been lifted. I think you made a good point, Sophie, actually, that Chelsea need to invest this season, don't they? Yeah,
they do. Like it's a mediocre Chelsea team, isn't it? You're looking at, they need a proper goal scorer, in my opinion. You've got players like Willian, who are aging now. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but they need some fresh legs in there, definitely. And Chelsea's a team that over the years I've really feared going to, but at the minute, I'll be honest, I don't, because I think they're that mediocre at the minute, and they lack a bit of character as well. I think Lampard has got a job in his hands, but I think he's doing a decent job. I must admit, he's taken over. Like you said, they had the ban. It was a tough period for Chelsea. I just think he needs a bit of backing now, and I'm sure that Chelsea get back to the best. I really am.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay, so left winger. Yeah, I think this might be an easy one, but we'll wait and see. So I've got Sadio Mane, Harvey Barnes, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, ? Gabriel Martinelli, ? And then other. So, Connor, I think I know who you're going to pick, but who is your left winger?
See, there's some good choices. I will admit there are some good choices, but I've said him many times. He is the main man for Liverpool's attack, and that is Sadio Mane. Liverpool without him this season, I don't want to know what we would be like. I do think we'd still be champions, or near enough champions. But yeah, he is superb. When we signed him way back in 2017, I think it was, you could see what Jurgen Klopp brought him to Liverpool to do. And that was to destroy defence. And in his first season, that in his first game for Liverpool competitively, that goal against Arsenal, that run all around the Arsenal defence, and Arsene Wenger looking gobsmacked, and that was just brilliant. And ever since then, Mane has improved. He's improved every single season. And the funniest thing is, it was kind of a stopping point as well for Mane a couple of years ago, where we had Coutinho in the team as well, and let's not forget this. Sadio Mane was put on the bench by Jurgen Klopp quite a lot when Coutinho was in, and then when Coutinho left, Mane then stepped up to the plate, and ever since then he's been absolutely superb. And this season, you know, the games against Manchester City, games against Aston Villa as well, you know, he has been Liverpool's man. And for me, he's quite simply, you know, he's in the running for the PFA Player of the Year. I would say it is probably between Henderson, Mane, and Kevin De Bruyne. I would probably see, I've said Henderson should get it, but, you know, Mane as well. You know, for me, he's just been so brilliant. And, you know, out of the front three, I love Bobby Firmino more because, you know, I just love Bobby. But Mane, you know, he is just something special. And for me, he does get into this team, for me anyway.
Yeah, Sophie, you agree with Mane?
Yeah, Mane makes my team. I've said it several times. I think Firmino is obviously a decent player and Salah, but I think out of the front three, Mane for me is the standout guy. Like, he's the one who produces a goal out of nothing. Or just his whole work rate as well. Like, if he loses the ball, guarantee you he's getting it back. Like, he's just an incredible player. I think this season in particular, I think he's really upped his levels. I think because Salah seemed to have dipped off a little bit, Mane has replaced him. That's what's so good about the front three of Liverpool. If one's having a bit of an off game, guarantee that another one of them will pop up and rescue. Yeah. And that's the frustrating thing about it. But guarantee it happens. And this season, like you mentioned, 9 times out of 10, it's been Mane who has got that important goal for you. And I think he's just a game changer, definitely. So Mane gets on my left side. That's the last of my Liverpool players in my team, though. That's it. Done.
I totally agree. Mane just been terrific this season. And so many important goals. I've lost count of how many important goals. Like you say, Connor, obviously Aston Villa, Manchester City. You know, obviously, I can't think of any others at the moment. But I'll tell you something, he's been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, like you say, I think he is going to be very, very interesting. Debate over who the Player of the Year will be, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Is it? It's got De Bruyne, Mane, and Henderson. I think are going to be the front three to win it probably. So, yeah, Mane.
Can we just talk about Mane's lockdown hair as well, please? Can we just...
To be fair, most of the Liverpool squad's hair is mental. I will admit that. This is why I'm wearing a cap. My hair right now is mental. And it just like...
Aubameyang as well, to be fair, that deserves a special mention, because... you just shave it off, like, I don't get what... Just shave it off, like...
He's receded like 6 inches, like that way.
But he was a header in training, and his hair it's not even attached. I don't think it's that far back.
It's so bad, man.
Yeah. Special shout out to Ashley Young as well. I mean, I've never seen him with hair either.
What's the point? Like,
it's a transformation. Like, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. I was like, what? All these years he's been tricking us, thinking it's bald, but no.
Yeah. But it's like N'Golo Kante as well. N'Golo Kante has hair. Like, what? It's like Inception has happened. Like, what happened?
It's just pure laziness. It's just that, oh, shave it off. I ain't gonna do it then. That's what it is.
Right. So, strikers. I think this is going to be very, very debatable as well.
I've got my last two are wild cards. Can I just add? Like, these are a bit random.
Interesting. Right. Okay. So, strikers I have are Sergio Aguero, Jamie Vardy, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Marcus Rashford. Again, I put him in the strikers because I think he's had a very good season. I think he's had a very, very good season. And before he got injured, he was looking very, very good. Raul Jimenez and other. Connor, striker. Who's your striker?
Where's the Liverpool option?
You ain't got a striker.
I wouldn't put Bobby Firmino in this, but my striker is Jamie Vardy. I think he's been absolutely superb, and it's like James Milner. You know, age is just a number, and he's like a fine wine, just like progressing through age. And yeah, what's he on now? Like 17 goals, I think it is this season. It's something 19. It's crazy, and you know, for a 33-year-old or 34-year-old, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, you know, we talk about, you know, strikers and they on about like young strikers. Vardy is showing, you know, no matter your age, you know, it's not impossible to, you know, be, you know, at the end of your career, you know, he is what he is. But yeah, the other shouts, you know, Rashford especially, I think he's more of a left winger now than a striker. I think, Martial is their striker now, and that like combination works like that. Aguero as well. Aguero, I think, has only been in since he's joined Man City, he's only been in one or two team of the years or team of the season.
He was in the BBC one, and that one raised a few eyebrows. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, I totally get. Vardy just gets better and better with age as well. Did you pick Vardy, Sophie?
So yeah, we've got Jimenez and Vardy there, both of them. I think Vardy just tips it for me. Like you say, he's getting older, but when Leicester won the league, he was formidable. He was incredible in that season. And I think since Rodgers has taken over, but this season we've seen flashes of that Jamie Vardy coming back. I think he runs the channels. He's so clinical, and he's just a nightmare to play against. He just does not stop. So I think Vardy would just pick it for me, but I think Jimenez deserves a shout out. That ball team as well. So often he has been the guy who's got the goal for them. But I just think him and Jota, I think for Wolves are incredible. I think their quality going forwards, and obviously Adama as well on the right hand side has been good for them. But I think Jimenez has scored some good goals. He's proven he's a good finisher. Again, he's been linked with United, and again I would take him. But Vardy just picks it. I think he's like a fine wine. He's getting better with age. We've kind of seen flashes of the old Jamie Vardy, the one that terrorised United a few years ago. That he's coming back this season. Yeah,
definitely. I was the same as you. I had Vardy, I had Jimenez, but obviously Vardy.
Young as well deserves a mention. To be fair, he's a poor Arsenal team. He's struggling with his hairline, and he's still banging in goals. You know what I mean? I think he's scored some really good goals for Arsenal, some important goals. He doesn't get the best service because they haven't got the best quality side, as we've already mentioned, and I think that proves he's obviously a good striker. And he's another one. Apparently, they might have to sell him after this pandemic because financially they could struggle a little bit. I think it'd be interesting to see if he stays.
Would you take over at Man United?
I would take, as a short-term fix, I would take him. Yeah, like I say, he's not getting any younger, but he's proved he can score goals in the Premier League. And I think with the likes of Pogba behind him and Bruno, I think he's destined to score goals. So yeah, I would take him.
Connor, would you take over at Liverpool?
Personally, no. I wouldn't take him. I would have a couple of years ago. When Arsenal signed him, I was really jealous of that signing. I was like, God dang it! I would love Aubameyang at friggin' Liverpool, but yeah, I think he's more of like Barcelona's option for Luis Suarez. I think that is at the minute where they're at, and go on.
Sorry, I think I would take him. The whole Van Persie, what happened with Van Persie, and obviously we stole Van Persie to win the title for us. I would just love to rub it into Arsenal fans' faces if we got their player. That's purely the reason why I would take him.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But no, that's a shout out to Paul Merson who cannot even say Aubameyang's name to save himself. Aubameyang, or is it Aubameyang or something. It just doesn't sound right anyway. But just wanted to say that. Right, wingers. Tricky one. So I've got Mo Salah, ? Because even though he has played very, very well, I don't think he has been as good as Mane has. Ayoze Perez. I put Dan James in there.
First half, maybe.
First half, yes.
No, Dan James, I feel really sorry for him. He gets a lot of stick. He even said he wasn't expecting to play as much as he has done since he's come into the Premier League. I think he was expecting to be used in a bit more, and I think we've overplayed him. I think so often he's played. He's obviously he's an all or nothing player, isn't he? A bit like Adama. He's rapid, and he's still got to obviously improve his game. Of course, I think he's more like a player who would be effective bringing him off the bench against tired legs. But I think first season in the Premier League, I think he's done well. But like I said, I think he's been overplayed, and we've relied on him more than we should have done for his opening season. But I think he's a good squad player, and like I say, I think coming off the bench, he can be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Dan James, Adama Traore, Bernardo Silva, and then other. And then I've put, again, Marcus Rashford, ?
I'll put Rashford there, I'll be honest. I'll go out and say I'll put Rashford there just because I think Rashford, he was carrying United first part of the season before his injury. He was literally, that free kick against Chelsea sticks in my head from this season, but he's just feeling, before his injury, he was incredible. He was scoring goals, creating goals. He was the guy who produced something out of nothing, because you know that Man United haven't played the best football. And I think Rashford has been superb. But above all that, he's kind of been, I don't know, he's only young, but he's almost been the most experienced player at times on the pitch, and you kind of turn to him. So I think Rashford deserves to be in the team, but obviously normally he'd be on the left-hand side, and he's not been better than Mane.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think Rashford, before he got injured, he was Manchester United's man. You know, he's playing really, really well, getting some important goals, like you say, that free kick against Chelsea. I mean, that is still travelling anyway.
I mean, I will mention he probably took about 6,000 free kicks prior to that one going in and the goal. I will say that, but what a free kick that was, and he has got that moment of magic in him. I know he's not consistent enough in front of goal. That's why he's not a centre forward. He simply isn't. But he is a nightmare to play against, and like I say, he does produce that bit of magic every now and again. So I mean, on the right hand side, you're looking at likes of Adama. Is he really consistent enough to be in the team this season? He's a good player, and he's rapid, and he's terrifying when he's on his day. But I mean, obviously, I'm from Wolverhampton. A lot of my family are Wolves fans, and they say he's the most infuriating, frustrating player to watch, because it's kind of like he'll beat a man, he'll stop and wait for them to recover, and then try and beat them again. And I do see that in flashes with Adama. I think he would be quite frustrating to watch week in, week out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Wolves are quoted saying, was it £70 million? I mean, that's way too much. So I think he'll stay at Wolves. Oh, this is really tricky. Connor, who's your right winger?
Well, for some reason, Marcus Rashford needs to get into this team, apparently, because he's been thinking left wing, striker, and right wing. What's going on? No, I'm joking. He has been good. Like, let's be honest, Marcus Rashford, he has been your main man. And I think without him, I think he would be around 10th. Like, or something like that. But, you know, Doug, you know what I'm going to say. It's Mohamed Salah for me. You know, since joining for Liverpool, you know, same with Mane, you know, he has been a revelation. Of course, his first season getting 44 goals in all competitions and I think over 10 assists, which, you know, the only person to beat in that season was, I think, Lionel Messi. The second season he was joint top goal scorer with Aubameyang and Mane. And this season, you know, it's not so much his goal scoring, you know, his assist numbers has been, you know, shooting through the roof. And he has, you know, people, and I think I tweeted this out, I think, you know, mainstream media, and I think many people as well, they've underestimated Mohamed Salah this season and that. And, you know, they just focus on, you know, the dives and things like this, and you know, and I think that's kind of taken, you know, credibility away from him, because you know, he has been Liverpool's second main man, you know, prior to Mane. You know, I think he's on 16 goals in the league this season, you know, obviously scoring the winner or like one of the goals in the Champions League final, you know, for us. So, you know, he's been such a crucial player for Liverpool. And to think we only signed him 34 million quid, you know, you think of, you know, things that he's done, you know, you think you'd get him for, you know, 40, 50 million quid. And to be fair, that's all thanks to Neymar and, you know, his ridiculous transfer, you know, price up and everything like that. But yeah, for me, Mohamed Salah needs to be in this team because, you know, so far anyway, he has not, you know, missed a beat. And, you know, the other person I would put in there at right winger would be Adama Traore, but I think Adama Traore, he has like a phenomenal like 2-3 games and then goes missing for about 5 or 6. And then it's like this. And for 70 million quid, like you said, you know, that's way too much money valuation. I think, you know, maybe 40, 45 million would be where he is, where around. But yeah, for me, Mohamed Salah should be in this team anyway.
Not for United. United has paid 90 million for him, guaranteed.
Ed Woodward signing.
It went for last week of the transfer window, paid 90 million. No, I think that right hand side is enough. I think Salah is a decent. Of course, he's a good player, and he's a decent name to be putting in that list. Of course, he is. I just think that last season was much better. I don't think he's been as good this season, but it could be that he's just as good. But Mane has just upped his levels, and that's just what it is. I mean, if I'll be honest, I try and watch Liverpool as little as possible because they infuriate me because they're so good at the minute. So you watch Salah a lot more consistently than I do, but certainly he's got big moments in his game. He scores important goals, and so often he's been the saviour for you guys. So yeah, definitely deserve a mention.
Salah or Rashford, or do I go with my own?
If you go Rashford, it's fixed.
One thing I will say, we will have a bench, right? So we will have a bench. So Rashford is getting on our bench, right? So that I'll say now. I had Aubameyang. I think he has really impressed in a really poor Arsenal team, but he's not a right winger. That's the thing.
He has played out wide though, hasn't he? He has played.
Yeah.
Right winger.
Yeah.
Accommodating players.
This is really tricky. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go for Salah because the reason I say this is that Aubameyang has been very, very good. I just think Salah. I remember the game against Arsenal where he turned David Luiz inside out and he basically sent him back to Chelsea, sent him back to Brazil. He was phenomenal that day. So I think for me, I would put Salah in there. Just. I did think of Aubameyang, but just. And I'm basically going to put in brackets just because I think Salah's been good. I think Aubameyang's been good. Yeah, Adama Traore. I obviously did a potential signings video, which I'm kind of saying it's just paper talk. I don't see it happening. So I even spoke to your dad as well, Sophie, and he was like, "Oh, Adama's not moving. Adama's not moving."
Well, I don't want to let anybody go. If you asked my dad to do this in the season, I guarantee Cody would be at centre back, Jota would be in there, Evans and Coutinho would both be in there, Doherty would be in there times 10. Like, you just, yeah. Wolves fans are so biased. Like, I know most football fans are fickle and they're biased, but Wolves fans are a different breed, honestly. I keep seeing tweets like, "Oh, the best atmosphere in the world" and all this, and I'm like, "I'll be beat everywhere in the world." No, like, there's more places than the Molyneux. But,
if you want to get blind with a light show just before the game, then probably Wolves are probably the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Wolves have got an incredible side though, and there's a lot of players who I would definitely take at United from Wolves. Doherty you mentioned earlier, I think he's so underrated. They paid so little for him. I remember when I signed him, obviously I played at Wolves Women and I met Doherty, and he was only young back then, and he was just like a potential. Wasn't expecting him to progress the way that he has done, and he's gone up the leagues with them, which I think that shows he's a good player. He's gone through the leagues, and he scored again some important goals for Wolves.
Yeah, definitely. Right. So bench, unanimous decision. Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
Totally. He's been absolutely outstanding this season for. No.
I'm joking.
What? Defenders. Who did we miss?
Harry Maguire.
Joe Gomez.
Harry Maguire. Joe Gomez. Oh, now you got me choosing again.
It's like fighting out Joe Gomez, Harry Maguire.
I'm saying Harry Maguire because he's consistent. He's like probably the first name on the team sheet for United. Like, since we've signed him, he's been consistently there. And like I say, I just think he's improved us. But Gomez has been good for Liverpool. I'm trying to think who else has been decent. Sheffield United as well, obviously, at the back have been solid. Wilder's just got them playing in the system, and everybody is just in the role. He's just got them clicking. He deserves credit for that.
No, yeah, I'm gonna go Gomez. Actually, there's one other one I've missed. There's one other one I've missed. Rashford for
back. What? I know he needs to get in the team, but not centre back.
No, not centre back. No, definitely not.
How many times can we try and get Rashford in this team?
I'll keep trying. If it doesn't make the bench, I'm leaving.
Midfielders.
Bruno. I'm being dead serious. I said he deserves a mention. Better than putting him in the first 11.
To be fair, I said this off camera, and I said I wouldn't mention it in the video, but I am going to mention it. If he had signed in the summer and he played the entirety of the season till now, then yes, you could have possibly been in the team. But 5 games, it's
I'm sorry, the impact he's had in Manchester United, I'm going to put him on the bench.
It's more important. Like, as a United fan, you think about the players that we've signed. Played.
What happened there?
Literally, like, hold on.
Okay. About Bruno, though, I was saying that since he's come in, the lift around the whole club, everybody, the fans, the players, you can even almost see like they're kind of expressing themselves a bit more. And I can't remember the last time we've signed a player and they've had such a detrimental effect to the whole club.
Yeah.
Van Persie, obviously, you could say, and Zlatan even, he had that kind of character, that confidence. He brought that with him. And I think Bruno's done a similar thing. Bruno is very different to Zlatan, of course. He keeps his mouth shut and he just does it on the football pitch. But I think the way that he's transformed us, that's why I think he deserves to be in there.
Yeah. Another midfielder I was thinking of was Wilfred Ndidi. I think Leicester have had a very good season.
I think Wijnaldum's such an underrated
Wijnaldum.
player as well, to be honest with you. He's a player that I loved at Newcastle, and I was gutted when you signed him, but I think he's just a quality player.
Edit that out.
What actually happened there?
Oh, my nan walked in.
No.
We didn't see her, to be fair.
Yeah, she tried to get in. It's like I'm behind the door's behind me. But yeah.
Dearie me.
She tried to get in.
Oh, connection lost. Problem in the network.
Who have we got on the bench so far then? Henderson, Gomez, Bruno.
How many are we having on the bench?
5, is it? 6? 5, 6?
Oh, what's happened here?
I'm trying to think who else I want to put.
I seem to have been disconnected. Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there. My connection went there a wee minute ago. So I put Wijnaldum and I put Ndidi. And then Mr. Rashford gets in because Rashford isn't terrific and deserves a place on the bench. So, and we've got one more.
Aubameyang, maybe?
Grealish?
Oh, yeah, Grealish is a good shape.
Grealish is a brilliant shout.
The thing is, though, you put Grealish in, what do you think about Maddison? Because a lot of comparisons with Grealish and Maddison in their seasons. Grealish obviously is in a lot poorer team, and like you say, pretty much carried them.
They're two different players, and they play in the different positions.
Yeah, this is what I always say, because Grealish is obviously like a free role player. I know they put him out on the left, but he kind of does what he wants. He's the main guy. And obviously, Maddison is a set-piece specialist, isn't he? But
Yeah.
I just think every time we talk about Jack Grealish coming to United, everyone's like, oh, Grealish or Maddison. Grealish or Maddison. It's like, you have to choose one or the other. And I used to say I'd favour Maddison. But since seeing Grealish in the Premier League, I think he's really proven himself. And I now go towards Grealish.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so the team we've picked: Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Soyuncu, Robertson, Henderson, De Bruyne, Kovacic, Salah, Vardy, Mane. And then the bench is Henderson, Gomez, Fernandes, Wijnaldum, Ndidi, Rashford, Grealish. That's not a bad team.
Not bad.
It'd win the league.
It would. It would win the league.
To be fair, it's mostly Liverpool players, which I'm happy about.
It is.
It must pain Sophie to actually do that.
Yes. But as a football fan, you have to just acknowledge it and appreciate it. But yeah, kills me. I'm just hoping we can narrow that gap. Because at the minute, we're so far behind, we're like Aubameyang's hairline.
Well, Sophie, Connor, absolute pleasure to. We're almost going at an hour, which is absolutely fantastic. It's been absolutely lovely to discuss this with you both. Obviously, before you leave, let people know about your socials. Obviously, Sophie, HairDryerTreatment. But where else can we find you on your socials?
Thanks. So yeah, YouTube HairDryerTreatment. My Twitter is SophRicho, and then my Instagram is SophRicho with a kiss on the end.
Okay. You've also started a Twitch channel. I don't think you're going to be using that at all.
I have set it up. I'm just waiting. Like I said, I think I need to buy a new Elgato, to be honest with you. So yeah, once I get a new Elgato, I'll be streaming on Twitch as well, but mostly just YouTube for now.
Okay. And Connor, where can we find you on your socials?
So of course the Kop Council on YouTube and also on Twitter and YouTube at the Kop Council.
Okay. Do you want me to put your personal ones in, or?
No, I always see this on Twitter. It says like from the Kop Council. It's like no. It's like keep that Twitter account private for my rants, and then keep the Kop Council for football. But yeah, it's at the Kop Council on YouTube and Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, obviously, let us know your team of the year in the comment section down below, and I'm sure the three of us will be able to reply. And also go and follow LCFC Boya. I know he couldn't be on here today, which is really a shame. But obviously check out the interview I did with him as well, talking about Livingston. Actually, that was very, very interesting. So very interesting to get my insight into what's happened in the SPFL and the chaos that has come with it as well. But no, guys, obviously go and follow Sophie at HairDryerTreatment, and obviously go follow Connor at the Kop Council. And it's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, if you do like my content, then please hit that subscribe button. It'd be absolutely fantastic. Also, before you leave the video, smash a like as well. That'd be brilliant, appreciated. But thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye for now.